larger than the United States and Europe combined, yet so silent you could travel hundreds of miles without seeing a soul. This is Siberia, the sleeping continent within Russia. Where molten lava flows over ice and snow, and the deepest lake on Earth nurtures an isolated, bizarre ecosystem unlike anything seen anywhere else. How can humans survive in a place where nature constantly seeks to wipe them out? The answer lies in the journey through the most mysterious land on the planet that we are about to embark on. To understand why Siberia is different from anywhere else on Earth, we must begin where the cold is not a season, but an unchanging force. Oymyakon lies deep in the Verkhoyansk Mountains, a remote valley where the cold air lingers and refuses to leave. Surrounded by mountain ranges that block warm winds, this tiny settlement has recorded temperatures as low as -71 degrees Celsius, and only about 1,000 people live there permanently. Here, the cold is a physical presence. Breath freezes instantly. Metal becomes brittle. Engines cannot be shut off, as restarting them is likely impossible. However, Oymyakon is not a place to admire. It's a place of everyday life. Children walk to school wrapped in layers of fur and cloth. Shops are open as usual. Families cut ice to store water. Food freezes outdoors, naturally preserved by the climate itself. Life goes on not because the cold has weakened, but because people have learned to live with it. The Verkhoyansk Mountains stretch like a frozen spine across northeastern Siberia. Their snow-capped peaks gleam with a pale pink under the faint winter sun. The sky is clear, sharp, and stretches endlessly. The people here don't fight the cold. They respect it. They measure life by daylight, by the weather, by patience. Sakha Republic, also known as Yakutia, is one of the coldest inhabited regions in Siberia. Earth is one of the world's largest administrative territories. Towns are far apart, roads are limited, and winter can turn any journey into a risky endeavor. Larger than Argentina, this is a land where distance defines existence and winter reigns supreme over time. At its heart lies Yakutsk, the capital, built entirely on permafrost that never completely melts. Buildings are constructed on tall concrete pillars, allowing cold air to circulate underneath and preventing heat from melting the ground. Water and sewage pipes run above ground, exposed to the air, insulated and wrapped like lifelines stretching across the city. In winter, Yakutsk often disappears beneath a thick fog. The city seems to hang suspended, half-existent, as if existing somewhat out of sync with the rest of the world. At the open-air fish markets, frozen fish are stacked like carved stones, their bodies stiff, their scales dulled by frost. Nothing here can conceal the cold. Every street, every building, every habit reflects the understanding that survival here depends on respect, not conquest. The roads of Yakutia are not merely infrastructure, they are a compromise with nature. Every kilometer exists in conditions dictated by the cold, distance, and fragility. The asphalt easily cracks as the ground beneath shifts seasonally with the subtle thawing and refreezing. Repairs are constant. Potholes appear overnight, not from traffic, but from the temperature. The most famous of these is the Kolyma Highway, often called the Bone Road. It stretches for thousands of kilometers through the wilderness, where assistance can take days to arrive. Drivers here follow unwritten rules. No, never travel alone. Never let the engine stall for too long. Never abandon another vehicle that has broken down. On these roads, helping is not an act of kindness. It is a duty. The roads of Yakutia reveal a truth. Travel here is never haphazard. Every journey is carefully considered, calculated, and shared. For Yakutsk, the Lena River is more than just a scenic spot. It is vital. The city sits atop permafrost, with virtually no road connections to the rest of Russia for much of the year. Spanning approximately 4,400 kilometers, it originates in the mountains near Lake Baikal, then flows north through the vast interior of eastern Siberia before emptying into the Laptov Sea. During the short summer, usually no more than 4 months, the Lena River becomes a vital lifeline. Cargo ships and barges move steadily across its vast expanse of water, carrying fuel, food, building materials, and daily necessities into the city. Almost everything Yakutsk depends on arrives by water during this brief period. The river becomes a mobile market, a supply route, and a link to the outside world. In winter, the Lena River transforms. Its vast surface freezes into a thick, solid layer of ice, strong enough to support trucks and heavy machinery. Temporary ice roads appear, allowing vehicles to cross where there were no bridges. What was once water becomes infrastructure. Traffic slows down, but doesn't stop. The river also shapes daily life. For Yakutsk, the Lena River is not just a river flowing through it. It is the reason the city can exist. Earth's frozen chronicle. Beneath much of Siberia lies permafrost, a vast layer of land that has been frozen for tens of thousands of years. It stretches for hundreds of meters in some places, locking in soil, ice, and organic matter in a state of near-perfect preservation. From this frozen ground, mammoths have emerged with their fur intact, their skins preserved, and even the food in their stomachs still visible. Russian scientists say this is the most perfectly preserved mammoth mummy ever discovered, named Yana. The specimen weighs over 100 kilo, is about 120 centimeters tall, and was determined to have died when it was only about 1 year old. Yana lay undisturbed under the permafrost in the Yakutia region of Siberia for over 50,000 years. Of only about 7 mammoth remains ever found globally, Yana is considered the most intact, offering exceptional scientific value and reflecting the rapid melting of permafrost in Siberia due to climate change, revealing specimens of extinct species. Even lions have appeared in similar conditions, not fossils, but frozen over time. These discoveries give scientists rare insight into the Ice Age ecosystem, revealing how animals lived, foraged, and migrated across the ancient Siberian plains. In addition, scientists have identified bacteria and viruses trapped from the last Ice Age. Some of these viruses, known as zombie viruses, remain dormant but are still capable of survival, raising concerns about what might be released when the ground warms and the ice melts. In this sense, permafrost is both a repository and a warning sign. It tells the story of Earth's past with incredible clarity, but it also shows the consequences of climate change. From frozen ground and ancient skeletons, the journey turns eastward to a land where Siberia begins to burn. The Kamchatka Peninsula lies between the Pacific Ocean and the Sea of Okhotsk, remote and largely inaccessible by land. Its isolation has preserved it, but here, the Earth never truly rests. Kamchatka lies on the Pacific Ring of Fire, where tectonic plates collide and pressure escapes as heat. More than 300 volcanoes rise from the peninsula, 29 of which are still active. The most striking is Kluchevskaya Sopka, perfectly shaped, a gigantic ash and snow-covered cone volcano, over 4,000 meters high, reaching towards the sky. It erupts frequently, creating towering plumes of smoke in the atmosphere, darkening the horizon with ash that drifts hundreds of kilometers away. Not far from there is Mutnovsky, less elegant but more approachable. Its slopes are marked by the scars of constant activity. Steam hisses from the cracks, sulfur stains the rocks yellow and white. Beneath the snow, mud boils and bubbles, water froths. The ground trembles slightly under each step, an astonishing cycle. Deeper within the peninsula lies the Valley of the Geysers, one of the largest geothermal areas on Earth. Hot water columns erupt irregularly. Steam swirls through narrow valleys. Mud pools vibrate slowly, as if measuring time in another way. Ice and fire exist just meters apart. Glaciers supply water to rivers flowing through the boiling geysers. Amidst the chaos of nature, brown bears still move quietly within their territory. With their massive bodies, adult males can weigh from 500 to over 700 kg in late summer. Their thick fur, dark brown to yellowish gray, helps them withstand cold rain, sea winds, and long winters. They are omnivores, but their diet is distinctly seasonal. In summer and early autumn, Kamchatka bears congregate along rivers to hunt migrating salmon. They feed intensely, accumulating fat in preparation for their months-long hibernation. In Kamchatka, brown bears are not only top predators but also symbols of pristine wilderness and a natural rhythm undisturbed by humans. South of Kamchatka, the landmass is divided by the sea. A chain of islands stretching between Russia and Japan, formed entirely by the collision of tectonic plates. The Kuril Islands exist because the Pacific Plate has been subducting beneath the Okhotsk Plate, pushing magma up from the ocean floor. What rises is unstable, violent, and full of life. On Paramushir Island, the Abeko volcano smolders continuously. Smoke rises from its crater almost daily. Ash blankets nearby settlements. The eruptions aren't always violent, but they are persistent. a reminder that the land beneath these islands is only temporary. Further south is at Lasov Island. A single volcano rises straight from the sea. Steep slopes plunge into the dark water. There are no vast plains, no gradual transitions. Only fire meets the ocean. Here, Siberia ends not peacefully, but spectacularly, dissolving into the Pacific Ocean through fire and salt. Lost far above the Arctic Circle, far from roads and cities, lies the Putorana Plateau. A vast, towering world of rock, seemingly separated from time itself. It was not formed gently, it was born of fire, flooded by massive volcanic eruptions over 200 million years ago, and then carved by ice, water, and gravity into one of the most isolated landscapes on Earth. The plateau stretches for hundreds of kilometers, made up of layers of dark basalt rocks stacked like walls. Deep canyons cut across the land, their sheer cliffs shrouded in darkness. From these heights, thousands of waterfalls cascade down. Some fall like delicate silver streams. Others plunge into vast torrents, echoing through valleys where no human voices respond. The pools fill the cracks between the basalt walls, long and narrow, incredibly cold and crystal clear. In summer, they reflect the endless sky and rocks. All of this creates a picture of stillness, yet strange movement. Wildlife thrives in this isolation. The Putorana snow sheep is the rarest endemic species, found only on this plateau. They live completely isolated from other snow sheep populations in Siberia. They live in small flocks, often moving on high mountain slopes where predators are difficult to reach. They have excellent eyesight, able to detect movement from afar. When in danger, they don't flee on flat ground, but climb steep rocky terrain, taking advantage of their natural advantage. The Putorana snow sheep is not only a symbol of biological adaptability, but also proof of resilience in a world almost uninhabitable by humans. Further south, the land is again fragmented. Between dense taiga forests and snow-capped mountains lies the Kara Desert. Golden sand dunes shaped by the wind, surrounded by forests and ice. A desert where it shouldn't exist. Formed from glacial deposits left over from the last ice age, the sand here changes with the seasons. Scorching hot in summer, freezing in winter, a geological accident still lingers. Along the Lena River, rock pillars rise like ruins. The Lena pillars stretch for kilometers, vertical walls carved from the petrified ancient seabed. They resemble a forest, a city, a memory of something built and abandoned. Each layer of rock records vanished oceans and extinct life. To the locals, these pillars live on, guardians of the river. In the heart of Siberia, granite takes on new forms. The Stolby Nature Reserve stands tall, with monolithic rock formations bent and split by time. Nearby, the Agaki Mountains rise, encompassing the Parabola Peak. A perfect rock arch looks as if it were created rather than eroded. And deeper in Altai, the Kizilchin Valley is ablaze with color. Red, orange, and purple hills are formed by minerals exposed over millions of years. A landscape often called the Mars of Siberia. These places are not symbols, they are evidence. Siberia is not a single land, but many lands connected by time, pressure, and change. A place where the Earth is openly tested and the results remain for those willing to observe. Located in the heart of Siberia lies Lake Baikal. Vast, ancient, and difficult to fully comprehend, it is the deepest and oldest freshwater lake on Earth. Over 25 million years old, Baikal contains nearly 1/5 of the planet's unfrozen fresh water. But describing it solely in numbers misses its true significance. It's more than just a lake. In winter, Baikal transforms. The surface freezes into a layer of glass so thick that trucks can drive on it. However, the ice never truly stands still. Cracks race beneath the surface like blue lightning, branching and colliding, creating resounding explosions that stretch for kilometers. Bubbles of air get trapped beneath, freezing into perfect spheres, suspended between water and sky. The thousands of ice masses on Baikal are not as flat as one might imagine. When strong winds blow across the vast lake, the ice is pushed, collides, and rises, forming towering wall-like mounds of ice stacked in sharp, layered formations. They resemble the ruins of a forgotten crystal city, where broken ice fragments are pressed upright, reflecting the pale blue light of the Siberian winter. Inside these mounds, ice caves form naturally. Water from the lake's waves and underground currents seeps into the cracks, freezing in thin layers. Over time, they create transparent corridors where light passing through the ice changes color from blue to emerald. The cave ceilings are covered with sharp, perfectly formed stalactites, as if carved by hand. Upon entering, all sounds are swallowed up. Only the gentle whistling of the wind and the cracking of the ice deep within the lake remain. Lake Baikal is also a biological mystery. In its frigid waters lives the world's only species of freshwater seal, the nerpa, excellent divers. Smaller than ocean-dwelling seals, they have rounded bodies, short fins, and large dark eyes adapted to the dim light under the ice. An adult nerpa seal typically weighs between 50 and 100 kilon, with a thick layer of blubber that insulates them from the nearly frozen lake water. How it got here remains uncertain. Some believe its ancestors swam inland via ancient waterways. The nerpa has adapted perfectly, evolving in parallel with Lake Baikal itself. On the vast ice surface of Baikal, flocks of gulls are a rare sign of life in an otherwise immobile space. They fly low, slowly, and purposefully, circling along the ice cracks as if reading the lake's breath. Their grayish-white plumage stands out against the cold blue background, their outstretched wings catching the weak breezes blowing across the frozen water. Gulls in Baikal are not just passers-by. They adapt to harsh conditions, foraging around cracks where the water never completely freezes. There, small fish surface and seagulls patiently perch on the ice, remaining still for minutes at a time, waiting for the right moment to dive. Their calls echo in the empty space, sharp and brief, a reminder that life continues. Along the western shore of Lake Baikal lies Olkhon Island, the largest island on the lake and also the most spiritually significant in the entire region. Here, the space unfolds in a very different way. The wind blows constantly across the open grasslands, carrying the scent of cold water and dry grass. Small villages are scattered here and there, old and quiet, as if time has slowed down upon setting foot on this island. Olkhon is not just a geographical entity. It is considered the spiritual heart of Baikal, where nature and faith blend together naturally. The island's topography changes constantly, gentle hillsides, sparse taiga forests, golden sandy beaches, and even arid, almost semi-desert areas. This contrast creates the feeling that Olkhon does not belong to a single world. At the symbolic center of the island is Cape Burkan, also known as the Shaman Cliffs. This jagged rock formation juts out of the water like a landmark between the sky and the lake. In winter, when Lake Baikal freezes over completely, Cape Burkan becomes even more prominent, standing majestically against the white expanse. The transparent ice surrounding the rock acts like a giant mirror, reflecting its rough and ancient form. Long blue cracks run along the base of the cliff, emitting a deep, resonant sound in the silence. Between the ice, the sky, and the water, Burkan appears as an entity detached from time, both solitary and majestic. Along the roads leading to Cape Burkan, simple serge wooden pillars are erected. On them, blue, white, and yellow prayer ribbons gently sway in the wind. Each ribbon carries a silent message, a plea for peace, a wish for good health, or simply gratitude to nature and the unseen forces. Lake Geyser is small, tranquil, and easily overlooked. Hidden within the Altai landscape, Geyser is likened to a pair of eyes hidden underwater. Blue and turquoise circles slowly form and disappear like vivid shapes. They are created by mineral-rich springs, gently rising from below. As warmer water pushes up through the sediment, it shifts the fine clay at the bottom of the lake, creating concentric circles that undulate and fade. The movement is subtle, almost imperceptible, yet continuous. Never twice does the same thing appear at this lake. Here, everything moves slowly. This continuous flow keeps the lake water clear and creates vibrant patterns of color, transforming it into a stunning geological floor, a geothermal oasis in the frigid mountains. The Trans-Siberian Railway cuts across Siberia like a steel thread, connecting east and west through one of the harshest regions on Earth. Spanning nearly 9,300 kilometers, it crosses 7 time zones, jungles, rivers, mountains, and permafrost, linking Moscow to the Pacific coast. It is the world's longest railway and one of the most ambitious engineering projects ever undertaken. Construction began in 1891, driven by imperial ambitions and the need to control and develop the vast eastern territories of Russia. Tens of thousands of workers were brought into the remote wilderness. Many never returned. They laid tracks through frozen swamps, dug tunnels through rock, and built bridges over rivers that rose violently in the spring. Railways changed Siberia forever. Towns sprang up where stations were built. Resources began flowing westward. Coal, timber, minerals, and people followed the tracks. What previously took months by river or sled could now be traversed in days. Siberia was no longer isolated. It was connected, exploited, and integrated. Today, the Trans-Siberian Railway remains a lifeline. Freight trains transport oil, grain, and metals across the continent. Passenger cars move slowly through vast forests, where villages appear and disappear in an instant. The Chuya Highway winds through the Altai Mountains, following a route that has existed for millennia. Long before the advent of asphalt and engines, merchants, nomads, and caravans used this road to travel between Siberia and Central Asia. Today, it is considered one of the most beautiful roads in Russia, but its beauty is inseparable from its arduous journey. The Chuya River flows alongside the road, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce, shaping both the terrain and the route. Unlike other major highways, the Chuya Highway does not overwhelm the surrounding landscape. The villages remain small, traffic is sparse. The road feels temporary, almost borrowed from the mountains. It connects remote communities, transporting goods. The Katuyarik Pass is not a road in the conventional sense. It is a steep road carved directly into the side of the mountain, a narrow scar. Built to connect isolated valleys with the outside world, it is both essential and harsh. The pass descends nearly a kilometer through a series of steep, narrow bends. There are no guardrails. The road surface is gravel and loose earth. Each descent demands concentration, patience, and restraint. Below lies the Chulishman Valley, remote and largely unspoiled. It opens up like a deep cut in the Altai Mountains, where the landscape is unpretentious but profoundly real. The Chulishman River meanders at the bottom of the valley, its cool blue waters rushing between sheer cliffs. On either side are high, grey and brown mountain slopes, eroded over millennia, revealing layers of bare rock as history is peeled away. For generations, this valley was only accessible by road or horse. The construction of Katu Yarik brought connection, but also risk. Goods could be transported. Medical emergencies became possible. However, the road was never guaranteed safe. Driving through the pass is a lesson in humility. In Siberia, even roads carry the weight of consequences. Tobolsk is located where Siberian history first began. Founded in the late 16th century, it was once the capital of Russia's eastern frontier, a place of conquest, trade, and exile. Most striking is the only stone Kremlin in all of Siberia, rising above the Irtysh River. Its white walls and onion-shaped domes look down upon the lower quarters of wooden houses and narrow streets, a clear boundary between power and everyday life. From Tobolsk, Russia expanded eastward, mapping the rivers and establishing fortresses across the unexplored land. However, the city was also a place of exile. Dissidents, intellectuals, and political prisoners passed through its gates, including members of the Romanov family in 1917. Tobolsk carries within it both ambition and loss, preserved in stone on a land that once felt endless. Novosibirsk shouldn't exist in its current location. Beginning as a temporary settlement for workers in 1893, it was built to support a bridge across the Ob River for the Trans-Siberian Railway. That is the Bagrinsky Bridge, a modern curve in the heart of Novosibirsk. The bridge's bright red steel arch stands out even on cold, grey winter days, creating a powerful visual highlight in the industrial city. Novosibirsk is not only the scientific center of Siberia, but also a place where modern architecture finds its place amidst glaciers, steel, and the enduring rhythm of the cold. Today, Novosibirsk is the largest city in Siberia and the unofficial capital of the region. Wide avenues cut through densely populated residential areas. Research institutes are concentrated in Akademgorodok, a science area nestled among birch forests. Culture, technology, and industry intersect here. Despite the harsh winters, life remains dynamic and forward-looking. Novosibirsk represents modern Siberia. Siberia is not just a treasure trove of resources or a frigid prison. It is a mirror reflecting human resilience and the untamed power of nature. They consider it home and have made agreements that only they understand. Siberia doesn't disappear when the journey ends. It remains, a quiet, profound heart, long after you leave. Continue following us for more new exploration journeys.